And yes, I am back. Okie doke, folks. Sorry. And I have no voice. There we go. Now I have voice back. Can you all still hear me? There we go. I'm standing in the chair. Oh boy. Always such a fun and exciting time in Second Life. There was a recent feature concerning the growing search for stress relief. Spas, massage, pills, and exercise tapes has become big business. The craving to ease tension has spawned an entire industry, including walk-in back rub stores and shopping malls and massage parlors and everything else. And although people will pay to fix their stress, they're not about to change their lifestyle that's causing it. No matter what the problem, our initial response is to treat the symptoms rather than the cause. The same is often true of us spiritually as Christians. It doesn't matter how much I come to church. If I am not willing to make the adjustments in my life that God says are necessary for me to get to where He's calling me to be, I will forego the blessings of experiencing God at my work, in my life. Whatever needs to change in order to get in on what He has in mind for me, I must be willing to change. I need to give priority to getting under the spout where the glory is pouring out. Guys, Henry Blackaby started this. He was a pastor of a very small church. But he realized that God is saying, this is the ministry I'm calling you to. And his first reaction, well, we don't have that kind of money, Pastor. We can't afford to do that. This is what our budget's always been. And you're talking about a commitment that we just don't have the money for. And they prayed about it and sought God's face and said, this is what God is calling us to do. We must do what He calls us to. And they began to do it. You know what? One of the things I found is if God calls you to a ministry, He'll provide for it. If it's God's call, it's usually Him doing it. He'll take care of it. He's not so short-handed that He will not handle all your needs. So they began to just kind of ignore what they were going to spend and basically decide what ministries they were going to do. And lo and behold, not only did God provide for them, He actually gave them an abundance that they could minister to other towns. They began to plant little churches all over their community because God was already at work. And they just needed to learn to see what He was doing so they could join Him. I need to give priority to getting under the spout, folks. We all do. We need to make an adjustment to what we think is important so that we can join Him in His work. We experience in God, and ultimately the last reality is that when we've adjusted, when we've trusted, when He's pursued that life relationship, and we've joined Him in the invitation, we experience God. Moses came to know God by experience as he obeyed God, and God accomplished His work through him. Think about that. Think about what Moses started at and what Moses did. Moses led the people into the promise and led them to the promised land. Now, he didn't get to go in himself, but he led those people out of Egypt, redeemed them from slavery. Oh, that we would content ourselves. Success consists of knowing God's will and being at the center of it. God willing, I will push and politic no more. The mountains are too high, history is too long, and eternity is longer. God is too great, man is too small, and there are many of God's dear children, and all around them are men and women going to hell. And if one man and a small group of men do not approve of where I am and what I do? Does it prove I've missed success? No, only one thing will determine that. Whether this day I'm where the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings wants me to be. Francis Schaeffer. Ultimately, your success, experiencing God's will, is to be where God plants you, to go where He leads you. When I first went into the ministry, way back in 84, yes, 84, you guys do the math. It's 33 years, okay? If you'd have told me then that I'd be pastoring a cyber church online in a virtual reality world called Second Life, I'd have told you were crazy. You see, God was already at work. God was already preparing. God had revealed. God adjusted. And I adjusted. And this is where He planted me. And this is where I'll stay until He leads me somewhere else. Because if I've learned nothing else in 30 years of ministry, is that if I want to experience the Lord, I have to be where He is. And I'll never do it if I'm running around trying to do it on my own. So I have a question for you tonight, guys. Where are you in your present experience with God? Are where He is? Are you where He wants you to be? Are you gone to where He's planted you and thrived where He's grown you? Or you say, no, I want to do it my way? Are you wanting to experience the one true God?